So Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman have obviously finalised their divorce, and there's been a couple of rumours floating around that Keith Urban has found a new flame. And it's kind of heated up again this week, and her name is Karley Scott Collins, and she is also a country singer, but she's 26, which is where people are starting to question. Now, we don't know this for sure. No one's confirmed it. It's just all lots of little twitterings and questions about this new potential flame. There were also rumours that he potentially moved in with her because obviously he's not in the family home anymore. But it's really interesting to see the reaction, the public reaction to Keith and this potential new flame, Karley.
Yeah, I've got to say, I do feel for her, whether it's true or not, just because now that people have her name and everyone's digging into like her life and she's going to start being followed to events by paparazzi and stuff, like whether it's true or not, her life's been about to be blown up in a really intense way. And we do know, especially because there's so much love for Nicole Kidman, there's always like a bit of weird hatred for like the younger woman who comes into a situation that a lot of times people's like anger is unfairly targeted at them. And I can sort of feel that already happening.
I can feel it
in
already
the comments and things.
And it's interesting because I felt it innately in me before I even realised it. Like I was like, why do I all of a sudden really hate this girl? And I don't even know who she is. She's probably a really lovely girl. Yeah. But it's like we've kind of been not conditioned, but it's that sort of you want to defend Nicole because everybody loves Nicole Kidman. But yeah, she basically back in December 2024, she was part of the High and Alive tour with Keith Urban. So she toured with him. So they've known each other for a while. Back into it, like at the sort of start of last year, she started touring with him. She did posts about him on Instagram. She's also just released an album called Flight Risk. So that's out at the moment. But yeah, you're right. She's going to be getting all of this attention on her. But it is interesting also to see these different divorce playbooks.
Yeah, that was sort of when I was sort of like, once the divorce has been finalised, which we know like all the papers have gone through court now, and it looks like Keith and Cole had a lot of kind of mediation, or at least their lawyers did, before anything was made public, because it looks like they've already split all of their assets down the line before the divorce documents went through court and were finalised. So it's all finalised now. They're officially divorced. Their custody arrangement with their two daughters is in place. All their assets have been divided. And in the lead up to that's kind of interesting when I was looking at like the two different ways that they've sort of presented themselves in the public eye, because even if you don't sort of set out to make a stand of how you're going to look to the public post-divorce, especially a big divorce like this where it's been like an over a decades-long relationship and they're both super famous, even deciding not to do something is still a choice of how you want the public to see you. Yeah. So we've had Nicole on one hand, a lot of people saying that she's won the divorce from the start, because after the news was announced, she was like at, couture fashion shows and she was at events and looking absolutely stunning. She had like the divorce bangs cut. And then recently being seen in Australia, again, not at public events, but like being seen out and about in Australia, just again, looking really carefree and gorgeous, always with her daughters. We know that she's got like a big year of film and work ahead of her. And so she's kind of been like that whole idea of like revenge dressing, like after a divorce dress, not that the thing is she always looks stunning, but it's kind of this more like at work event, she's looking really chic and sharp in a way she hasn't before. And then in her personal life, looking like kind of like so carefree and happy. And so there's this idea of like she's just working, looking after her kids and looking amazing. And on the other side of that, we have Keith Urban, who we haven't really heard a lot from since the whole divorce. Like he's touring and playing shows and he sometimes speaks to the audience, but he's kind of just like looks like he's almost trying to keep a low profile. And now if like all the tabloids are to be believed, he's hooked up with this much younger star. They're shacking up together. It's just, and he's kind of like, I think his thing is like kind of lay low and lay out of the spotlight and keep working, but that's not going to work because of this whole tabloid story that's blowing up.
Yeah, I kind of get the vibe of like Nicole, what Nicole's saying is I'm flourishing, I'm fine, I'm doing great, I don't need a man. It really gives off that kind of energy.
Yeah.
And then Keith, it's like, look at this new girl I'm dating. I still got her. Look, I'm good. I'm still handsome. I still can like offer something. And it kind of had me thinking about the way that we see divorce and see, separation of men and women in the last 15, 20 years has really shifted. Because if you think about the way that women were portrayed during these divorces, it was like, she's too old now. She's lost her currency, her youth and her beauty and all of that. That's gone. She doesn't she's divorced. What's she going to do? But then now you see that has really shifted. And the man, he can go date another younger woman. Men are aging. They just get better with age. Women lose their beauty, all of that. That dialogue I feel like has really shifted in the last 10 years. You're looking now at it's kind of flipped. It's like, this woman, I don't need a man. I've got my own job. I make my own money. I'm beautiful. I've got my children. I am flourishing. And then it's that, the man, it is almost looked on a little bit more, not as, good on you, mate. You can still get a 26-year-old. That's a bit sad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I really feel like there has been that shift, and maybe it's like a bit of third wave feminism and Me Too and all of this. But it just the way that reception from the public has really changed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting sort of if this is true, because again, we have no idea of knowing, and he's not the kind of person who's going to post a statement and confirm or deny or anything like that. But I guess the first time we would know is there's really incriminating paparazzi shots of it. But even if they're they're in the same circle and they're going on tour together and things like that, it's even hard to know if a paparazzi shot of them going into a hotel or a restaurant or a house even is a confirmation that they're dating. I guess it'll kind of come down to if we get footage of them kissing backstage or at a concert or something like that, or if they do a red carpet together, which seems unlikely, but sometimes after male stars have have a younger girlfriend or even just any age girlfriend, they'll sort of wait a little bit and then sort of do a full rollout of their relationship in a way that paints them in a very kind of happy light. And I guess
can we think of a guy?
Yeah, I know.
Sutton Foster, Hugh Jackman.
I know,
think
they have really become the blueprint just because they did that in such a they were barely hiding the fact it was all set up, but it worked in such a good way in terms of sort of distracting from this narrative of them cheating on their spouses for such a long time, because we obviously had the set up paparazzi photos of them, and I know they would never say they were set up, but People magazine photographer was the only one there on the scene ready to go. They've both given exclusives to People mag in the past, so they have a relationship there. They're walking down the street, they look so unbothered in a way that no celebrity couple would, getting their photo taken if they didn't know that the photographer was going to be there, and smiling, and the angles are perfect, and she's dressed beautifully and her hair's done, which is such a stark contrast to the paparazzi photos that were taken a few days later in an underground car park where you can just tell that someone's done a long lens through. And they did that a few months before they did an official red carpet walk together and photos together, which has now really cemented them. And once you've done those two things, it's kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off. Then you can be seen in public together all the time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would like for people not to put hate on this girl, though.
Yeah.
I did have to check myself. I was like, why am I feeling negative ways towards this poor girl? She's sort of just a woman, and if she is dating him, so be it. Let her
it's
live.
Just such a I think the other thing
it's
is
a cliche.
Yeah, it's such a cliche, and that's why I think people are being a bit eye rolly. I just imagine if now this is true, which it might not be, and Keith Urban's just sitting in an apartment somewhere that he's renting, completely solo, completely alone, being I've literally done nothing, and now I'm being ripped to shreds for being this cliche of a creepy older man dating a woman who's young enough almost to be my daughter.
Yeah,
which is again the most cliched thing that any man of any age, but especially of that age in the 50s, can do. But the thing is, we've seen it so many times, so I think people are leaning towards it. But also, I don't know, benefit of the doubt, it might just all be a story.
I do wonder where he's living, because I was thinking about this when I was looking at their property portfolio, because they've got a hell of a property portfolio.
Yeah, I don't think he's had, if he has moved in with his girlfriend, I don't think it's because he's homeless.
No, I'm not.
I think he's all right.
That. I'm can you imagine being on that beautiful, this multi-acre estate in Nashville, this huge estate, and then he's just moved out just knocked on his girlfriend's door, being hey, can I stay here for a while?
And she's like, oh, my loser boyfriend's here. How do I tell him to leave and get his own place?
You need to get a job.
Yeah. So that's where we're at with Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce. Again, I do think that after a while, this kind of intense interest in what they're doing will peter out a little bit. It's just because it's all been finalized. Obviously, there'll always be crazy interest in whoever they're dating and the dynamic between them. But yeah, I just hope for this young girl's sake that people, no matter if she's dating him or not, that they just kind of give her some space and just take it to the group chat, guys. If you need to say something, just don't say it online.